Alright, so today we're going to work on a Husqvarna 36-inch, I'm sorry, it's a Husqvarna 36, I believe it's an 18 or, no, it's a 16-inch bar. So my buddy Victor got this at an auction. We went to an auction on Saturday, and I'll post a video of that soon. But one of the things he picked up, what I thought was a pretty good buy, was this chainsaw. There's a tag on here, it says it runs. We couldn't really get it started, but it seems like it's got good compression, and so I'm going to do a one-over on this thing, just see what's going on, see what it looks like, and go from there. The one thing I will say, whenever you get a piece of equipment from an auction, you don't know how long it's been sitting or what the deal is. I think because of what was at the auction, it looks like there was one building company that was like liquidating everything. So I actually think this chainsaw will be just fine, but like anything, you want to check it over. Whenever you get a new chainsaw, always dump the gas out of the damn thing. I don't care if it smells good or what. There was not much gas in it. Just get rid of it, start fresh. And yeah, so I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of gunk and grime and probably old oil and stuff in here. So we're going to clean this up and make it look good as new. So just about everything will be done with the 6-in-1, but so I'm going to start cleaning this thing up. I'm also going to make this thing look real pretty for him as well, and put degreaser on here, so that way this thing looks good as new. So I already unbolted this. So this thing has 3 screws here. Loosen them up, and we'll snake this around. Put that there. Okay. Looks like a newer spark plug on the thing, but we'll check it anyway. Yeah, looks nice. Intake's dirtier than hell. Okay. Now, I was thinking about, we'll see what it looks like in here. But like I said, the gas smelled really good, and I looked at the quality of gas when I poured it out in a container, and it actually looked pretty good. So I'm thinking the carburetor on this thing is probably pretty decent. So these air cleaners here, this is like the air cleaner for the chainsaw. It's not, they're not the best air cleaners, but they do work. They're just not the best. I'm gonna try and blow this out. See how much shit I can get out of it. Blowing it from the opposite. Not much. I have to use a brush. I didn't think about this. So I'm not going to use a wire brush. Just use a little pad. Try to scrape it off a little bit. If you use a wire brush, you end up damaging it. So I think this stuff is just like nylon. Woven nylon. Yeah, not much debris on there. Just a little dirty. I think that's as good as we're going to get it. But in the day, it doesn't look too bad. Okay. What does the carburetor look like on this thing? That's the choke. This carburetor is really clean. I don't know if you can see that, but carburetor looks pretty clean. My towel holder broke. I need to get a new one. Okay. You know what just caught the corner of my eye as I was walking back from there? This thing's missing a bolt here on the muffler. Let's see what that's about. Alright, just getting a little towel, clean up any debris on the inside of the airbox here. Make sure that's nice and clean. And let's get some of this other junk out of here too. So these two screws here, if you can see, this one has an L. You can see that has an L for low and H for high. And see the adjustment screws there? That's for, L is really for the low at your low adjustment. So we'll see how it runs. Hopefully we don't have to adjust it. And then high is for when you're at full throttle to see how that sounds. So we'll run it, see how it sounds, see if we got to make an adjustment to the carburetor. But if you have to adjust the carburetor L, that's your more common one you're going to be adjusting. If it's like barely running at idle, you need to adjust your low. And at high RPMs, if it's popping or just not sounding right, you need a little extra ass. Your high is your high low, your high for your high jet. Okay. Yeah, see, chainsaws always get like really dirty because, you know, usually you're using them, throwing them in the back of the truck, back of your quad, whatever the hell it is. All right, let's just see what the spark plug looks like first. That's not the right size. That's not the right size either. That's metric, that's why. 3/4. That's just right. Spark plug's wet. We've got some oil and grease on it. Bet you it's probably from us trying to start it, or other people trying to start it. Like I said, it started to smell when we were messing with it, so I just assumed it was flooded. And with the spark plug being wet like that, kind of confirms that. That's why you blow out the spark plug with air. Look at all that shit coming off. So when this thing runs, it's shooting a spark between your top point and your low point here. And if there's moisture or wetness, it's not gonna, she won't fire. Look at all the oil that came out of the spark plug. And you can go through my stash, see if I have a spare. Don't think I do though. It's an NGK 7A. I have a couple spark plugs here. This is a Champion. It's very common. This one should be compatible, but honestly the spark plug doesn't look bad. Yeah, I don't have one. Spark plug really doesn't look bad at all though. So we're gonna leave this sucker in here. And a little bit of residual oil here. One thing I will do is I'm gonna pump this thing, crank it, see if any debris comes out. And it's really easy to pull because there's no compression because the spark plug's out. Quick little inspection of the cylinder. The piston all the way up, all the way down. It don't look that bad. You see some scratching from piston rings. The piston head's got some carbon on it. So this thing was used, but it really don't look that bad. So let's put this back on. So so it's snug. And if you guys remember on my other videos, so it's pretty much snug, and then I go 90 degrees, and that's it. All right, that's on. A lot more compression now, okay? All right, so let's take a couple other, so I'm just gonna close the choke, that way no debris gets in there while I take some other things apart. Okay, so this is garbage. Again, I try to stay as organized as possible, which is why I got my nice little table here, but staying organized is hard sometimes. Just in case I need the magnetic tray. So now we're going to take this cover off, which holds your recoil. So if you ever have to replace the rope on a recoil, you break it, it happens. You got to take this cover off. Okay. Ooh. So you see all this shit? This is all normal. See all the sawdust and oil? It's all normal. It happens. But you do want to keep it semi-clean. So we're going to clean it. Yeah, see all this sawdust, caked in there, and oil. So I'm glad to see the oil. Ivy's barking. Oil's good. You know, you want to keep it lubricated. Okay, this is a little cover. And then, so this is your actual flywheel, which is attached to your piston. And you can feel the compression right there. Feel the compression. And then when you're pulling on your recoil, see these arms here? These kick out, and then they grab. And then that lets you create compression. All right, so again, I'm just gonna clean this up. Well, you know, it's just general cleaning. I mean, this, like I said, you want to see, it's good to see some oil. It means they were lubricating it properly. But you want to get this shit out of here because, you know, the way this thing generates spark is metal around a magnet. And you see these magnets here? It sees this on your ignition here, and then you generate your spark. Okay, let's get a screwdriver. Gotta get some of this shit out of here. Ooh, look at that pocket of dust. Screwdriver works pretty good. Scraping all this shit off. I would take your cover off once a season. If you're a homeowner, you know, just clean it out. If you're like if you're like really working these things like a business, I'd probably do it like 3 times a summer. Because these things will get caked up. Alright. Let's blow this out with the air gun. Wear safety glasses. Unless you eat sawdust like me. Magnet looks good. So that's kind of clean. Okay, don't want to spend too much time on that. So we also want to take off this cover. So one thing I did notice is the bar's upside down. Not the end of the world, really not that big of a deal, but it'll bother me if we don't fix it. So let's fix it. That'll look like 1/2 inch. Half inch. Now there's a screw adjustment on here. It's caked up and covered. There's your adjustment for your bar. So once you so right now, that's pretty good. That's a good tension. That's nice. So that's kind of what you want to set your bar tension to. So under here, under this cover here, yes, is what you need for to fix the chain or change the chain, or even to tighten it up a little bit. But also under here is your clutch. So you have a clutch and you also have your brake. This thing don't want to come out. So when you push this forward, boom, it locks the clutch in that way. This chain don't move and I can't move it. Once you boom, release it, then you can move the chain. So that's working good. It's also good to see. This thing doesn't want to come out, so I'm actually going to loosen the chain a little bit. See if that helps us. Yeah. Okay, so we'll take that off. And see all that dirt? So again, you're gonna have sawdust. This is like oily sawdust, which, you know, might look gross, but I like seeing that because, again, this thing's well lubricated. And see this? This is your brake. It kind of works, well, I was going to say like a drum brake, but all it does is you tighten this, you push this forward, and it applies pressure on the clutch. So we want to clean all this crap out of here. Screwdriver works best. And that sucker's loose, okay. So, why did they... Alright, taking the muffler off these things is not a common thing. I mean, it's... Why would you do that? But let's see what the hell's going on. And why did they have the need to take this off? Okay. Ooh! Yeah, I don't have that. We'll definitely have to play the bucket game on this one. You can actually see the piston here, if you can see. Piston's a little wet. Again, I think that's from everybody trying to start the frickin' thing and it flooding. But, really, it doesn't look bad. Okay. Here's the bolt Vic. Hopefully we can find this one. So, this is how we play the bucket game. There's a couple big stuff out that you know you're not going to need. This is a very technical approach here. Alright. First you look up top, see if you see any odd things that may work. This carriage bolt's cool, but not the right thread. Off we go. You want to sprinkle a little bit at a time. It's too big. And see if anything pops out at us. Something this size thread, though. See, it looks like it's this type of thread. Yeah, and it is. So that's a match, but man, that is short. Alright, Alright, I don't see anything popping out at me. I think it's this thread. I might have one of these. Man, we might be looking, striking out here. That is the right thread. And that is damn close. But I think I'm going to call no cigar on this one. Ooh, that thing's a little bit beat up, huh? Okay. Alright. Just go through my one fancy drawer. I highly, highly doubt I have right size bolt. Highly doubt. Yeah, I know I don't. No way. Alright, so, just for Victor's sake, this thing's a hunk of steel. If that goes on there, it's definitely not going to fit. Man. Yeah, that thread's in nice. That's the right thread. I'm trying to think what I can do without getting the right bolt. Might have to order the right bolt for this one. Usually I got it, but it doesn't look like it. Sometimes these plastics get so hot it gets melted. Looks like this was melted here. This is probably the muffler shifted. And yeah, because there was only one frickin' bolt. Muffler shifted. Went there. Why would they have taken the muffler off this thing? See what the gasket looks like. If there even is one anymore. Again, it looks like this is taken off. Little insert. Let's clean up some of this. Yeah. So right here you see it's melted right here. It got so freaking hot. There's only one bolt on it. So the one good thing to know is that it was running with one bolt in it. Because it shifted and melted. That piece of plastic. All right. So the one thing I was thinking is, as long as this is fastened and putting pressure on there, I'm cool with it. I'm trying to think if I can make this work and then just have the cover hanging on with one bolt. I'm cool with that. And Vic would be cool with that too. That's your gasket. And just put that on there. Alright, just put that cute little screw back, cute little bolt back on there. Not crazy tight just yet. Vic, I'm not going to be able to make this thing work. Or could I? This is your resonator. It's what helps muffle some of the sound. Alright, well, I'm going to have to get Vic another bolt. But for right now, we will put this on. Make sure this is snug. And then, to make sure this one, what I'll do is I'll thread this bolt in here as I make this thing snug so it holds its position. All right. That thing is nice and tight. Loosen this up now. Alright, so before we give this back to the customer, we have to get another bolt this size. Probably order one online from Husqvarna or Parts Tree. Parts Tree is a good source. Alright, so there's this lip in here. I want to make sure that's inserted into the lip. And you get a good tight seal. So we played the bolt game for no reason, but that's okay. Go over to some of my other miscellaneous bins, see if there's something I got for it. Alright. So that is on there pretty tight. So I'm confident that that would work just fine. Oh, fuck. So I'll have to pry that back out a little bit. But for right now, we're okay. Okay. So let's clean some of this stuff out now. Don't be scared to look online for parts. I mean, you don't want to do a half-assed job. You want to get everything back in there. I mean, I kind of do a half-assed job at cleaning and stuff, but like I said, you don't have to make it perfectly clean. You were using the damn thing, for Pete's sake. Okay. Oh, looks like it's in good shape. Let's hope we got enough air pressure to blow all this stuff out. Ivy, what you saying? What's the matter? I want some bone. Power of compressed air. I unplugged the compressor, that way it doesn't run while we're videoing, because then you can't hear anything. Again, it's not perfect, but we got most of the stuff out of there. I think we used this rag pretty good. Okay. So now the thing's pretty clean. Let's put it back together. Actually, you know what? Before we put this back together, let's put some fuel in this thing and see if it'll run. This is the gas I just mixed up. I had a video on how to properly mix your gas, and again, I I put, I hate these gas cans. I put Marlboro Mystery Oil in my gas. This gas is mixed 50 to 1. There we go. Good 3/4 of a tank. And wow, that sucker's on there. Wow. There we go. Oh, we got plenty of bar oil in there. Look at all that. Actually, it looks like regular oil to me, but usually bar oil is a little darker. But there's plenty of oil in there. Alright, so we got gas in there. Let's see if this thing will fire up. Alright, stop to the left or stop that way. Which way stop? Stop, push it to the right. So I'm going to say that's off. Let's leave that on. Oh, what is this thing? Okay, so that must be for throttle. Okay, yeah, that stops it. Okay. Trying to start the freaking thing with the recoil not on. So let's put this back on. Make sure that's seated good, feels good. Okay, be mindful of your screws. You see these? The thread difference? So I got a metal insert here and a metal insert here. So, and this is plastic. Alright, so the ones that have the metal inserts are going to get your fine threads. That's this one and this one. Let's get those on there. Alright. And then the plastic, straight plastic ones, we'll get these. Okay. Alright. Now let's see how she sounds. Now that that's on right. Alright, so let's try the choke. Okay. Now choke and fire. Let's try it again. I'm going to switch it to the right, just to see if I'm... Alright. Stop and arrow to the right. So we're going to do a test on the spark plug. I smell gas, but I think that's from me spilling. It's not wet. Alright. So, let's properly ground this puppy. And maybe my C-clamp will... not my C-clamp, my clamp. And maybe I can go like that. Just want to get enough to hug this thing. Looks like, what are you doing? Alright, we're not touching any metal. Alright, just leave it like that, see if we see any sparking. And we got spark. Okay, so to the left, where it says stop, that's run. So to stop is to the right. To stop. And no spark. We thought that's what it was, but it's easy just to check. So why am I checking this now? Because I want to see if we got to rebuild the carb or not. So go to the left where it says stop, and let's put the choke down. See if she'll fire. This thing's not running. What's the matter? Come on. Where you going? Alright, she wants to go inside. Look at all my shit. I'm tired of hanging out with me. She just watches me. She'll be barking to come back in. Alright, so the chainsaw's not running. So we got spark. So if you got spark, you don't have fuel. And I just want to... Is there any fuel coming out of that? I don't see any. It doesn't even look wet. Alright. It doesn't even look wet. Yeah, you can see this thing's definitely not getting fuel. Let's keep trying. been primed with fuel by now. Alright, she's not getting fuel. So let's see what else is going on with this thing. So the fuel line sits in here. And of course we just added all that fuel on here. Okay. Got something going on in there. Looks like the fuel filter fell off. Grabber. Blow some of the shit off my grabber. Alright, so I got back from the store and I picked up the right tubing for Victor's chainsaw, at least what I believe to be the right tubing. And so now we're going to fish this tubing into his fuel tank here. You see this is a real small hole here, and it's going to be a nightmare trying to push that through there. So one thing that I find that's easier is I'm going to make an angle cut on this so I can at least get it started. And I'm going to use a razor blade. What I'm doing is I'm making it really small like that so that at least I can get it started in there. So I'll fold it over and get it started in there. You see how that I'm fishing that in? And you want it to be snug because remember this also acts as a seal in pushing and preventing fuel from coming out. Get my little poker here. I'm going to try to poke it on in. I'm just slowly pushing it into the tank. And yeah, I am damaging the first bit of it, but like I said, I just want to get this thing started. I just want to get enough that I can get my needle nose in there and pull it. And I don't know if you can see that, but it is in there sticking out. You know what? I'm gonna have to get my long nose. Hard to see in there, but I got it. I'm gonna push and pull at the same time. Push and pull. Yep. And we're in there pretty good. And it's tight, which is good. So you want like a tight seal, like I said, and you want to pull enough to get it out here. Okay. So now that this is sticking out, I'm going to cut this end off. So now I've got a good clean end. All right, put the fuel filter back on. Man, small tubing. This thing must stretch like a son of a bitch to get this thing on. You might have to heat it up. We're getting it on there. Man, she's being tough. Alright. Okay. Alright. So we're on there pretty good. So I'm going to push this back in. And that'll sit at the bottom. Look, we're already getting fuel in there. And then we got to fish it up through here. Uh-oh, I hear a tractor going by. Let's check on Ivy, see what she's doing. Got a 3-wheeler on charge. Oh, good. All right. Don't be chasing that tractor. Watch out. Don't be chasing that tractor. What's driving by? Something's driving by. I hear something. Maybe it's up the mountain. All right. Okay. So I'm going to pull this through, just like so. Whoops, make sure you close the fuel tank. Okay. Pull this through, and then we want enough because that's going to go in that carb there. So, and I think this thing was wrapped like this, so I'm going to cut a lot. Alright, I'm going to cut it like so. Okay. So now we can put this sucker back together. How do I want this to be oriented? Does that make sense? You like that? Yeah, it does. I'm good with that. Okay. Alright, where's my cute little bolts? This thing's like siphoning gas out already. At least now we know we're gonna get fuel. And we're just gonna put this on top. Oh, there's the tractor. It's the neighbor. I knew I heard something. We want to slip this. sucker on there. Man, tubing is tight. I mean, it's definitely a tight seal, I'll tell you that much, but fuck. Alright. Okay, so at least that's on there. Let's get the carburetor on first before we go crazy. So my buddy Vic and I, we met in college, freshman year. So why am I mentioning Vic? Because this is my buddy Vic's chainsaw that he got at the auction. So my buddy Vic, we met in college, and we stayed pretty good friends after college. I'm actually the best man in his wedding. So if anybody asks you to be in their wedding, I mean, it's an honor, but to be a best man, I mean, it's a big honor. I'm thrilled about it. Just hope I do a good job. I think I will. Currently planning the bachelor party. That's probably the most important thing, second to the speech. But yeah, in the process of doing the bachelor party, which will be a good time. Phone's ringing. Indiana. No, thank you. Somebody Vic lives up in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, which is north of here. It's like by Scranton. Okay, close. Okay. So the carburetors are pretty good, I think. Let me just check it again. Tight. Tight. Okay. So now let's get this thing sorted on. Alright, let's go on these little shock absorbers. Okay, there we go. Throttle working, that's good. If you throw the choke, good. So it's working good. Okay, so fuel hose is a little longer than it needs to be, but that's okay. That's probably too long. Let's see if we want to change it or just leave it. I'll just leave it, I think. Okay. This little envelope gasket. There we go. Okay. Well, this thing's looking good. Clean up this guy. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So this threads onto here. Okay, one thread through there. And this thread's on there. Okay, so let's put these guys back on. Yes, my buddy Vic, he's an entrepreneur like myself. He's got a landscaping business, does lawn cutting, snow removal, all that good stuff. You have to be a hustler. You know, the economy's really good right now, but regardless, you got to be a hustler because you never know when there's going to be a dip and you need something else to compensate when times get tough. So my buddy Vic's doing it right. And, you know, he's got a side business, hustling. He's got a full-time job, just like me. Okay. Okay, that's... Alright, so that's too tight. Why? Why is that so tight? Choke on. Okay, so why is that? That should be releasing when I give it throttle, and it's not. Let's make this loosen this up. Did I shift it over or something? Okay. I must have shifted it. Yeah, okay. Oh. Alright, so something's not right. Let's see if we can figure it out. Something rubbing. There's something rubbing. I don't see anything. Let's try this again. Maybe I just didn't have it seated right. Okay. Good, it's working. Something just must have been bound up, I don't know. Alright. Okay. So that's on now. So let's put this sucker on. I always have a hard time with the screwdriver sliding off, so I put my finger around the screw like that, and I just ride it, and just works well for me. Okay, so that's on good and tight. That's on good and tight. This line's a little long. Okay. Oh, that's why. See, there's a spacer. What does it measure? Measure twice, cut once. We gotta put the spacer on first. So it's okay. Just gotta redo it. Might as well do it right and do it wrong. Okay, so take this thing back off. So that explains that. Okay. Yes, you know what? He's got to come out. Should have checked. Now we got to do double work, and the video's longer. But that's what happens. Okay. Whew. Man, these studs are, they're good. Okay. Everyone gets on the stubborn stud. Okay. Alright, so now we gotta put our spacer on first. Let's make sure it's clean. Semi-clean. Alright, and yes. Let's actually put these screws in. At least get them started. Don't with the wire. Don't with the ground. Okay, there we go. Just in a little bit. Yeah, let's put this one in a little bit too. Okay. Now we put the stud in. Okay. Ivy just plopped on her bed. Yeah, so next video will be changing the oil in the Big Red, because that needs it. I mean, I change my oil once a year. I just use it around here. I really don't put that many miles on it, but once, twice a year is just fine. You know, I do it right before spring starts, so we're at the end of February. I'm getting to the end. And it's gorgeous outside. I mean, it's weird weather for February. And so I'm going to change the oil in that. That way we're good for springtime. And if I'm really feeling like a good preventive maintenance guy, maybe I'll do it right before winter too. I think last year I changed it twice. Okay, so now that that's snug, we're going to snug these bolts up. Okay, so let's just do another check. Good. Yeah, it's working good. I bet you after I put this on, I bet you it works even smoother. Smoother than it did. I realized, because I started doing this YouTube stuff. Wait, am I talking to myself? No, I got to talk to the viewers if anybody's ever watching. I guess as long as you don't talk back to yourself, you're alright. Okay. Yep, it's working good. Okay. Now, I think we're ready. Let me fasten this guy on first, actually. So I did take this off. Okay, so I should be done with those two. Put the box cleaner back on for real this time. You don't have to go crazy tight on these things. You know, it's plastic, so already feels pretty good. So just go there and then like a quarter turn. Okay, so that's on pretty good. So I'm pretty confident this thing's going to start after I prime it a couple times. So I'm going to put it back together. Let's put the recoil on first, actually. .36 air injection. Air injection. Whatever. Fancy carburetor. Alright. That's on. So these are. Okay. So that's good. What we can do is we can pull it and just make sure that we see fuel come up in this, and I'm pretty confident we will. If you can, I don't know if you can see, but there's air bubbles, barely any air bubbles. Once she gets fuel, she's already firing. Okay. Oh. I'm gonna put the head back on this thing. Okay. So I just started here, get it tight there, and then I'll get it tight on this side and then back to here. That way it sits nice. Okay. That's on. Dang. This has to go back on. Back at it again. But honestly, Vic got this for 60 bucks, and I think he made out pretty well, personally. For a backup chainsaw, or need to lend it to somebody, or you got somebody that he's got working for him and he doesn't trust him with his newer stuff, give him this thing. Burn 60 bucks on it, he'll make his money back real quick. And it fired right up after I primed it a couple times, after you primed it a little bit. Okay. So how was this thing sit? Was this thing in here, or was this thing over here? I don't remember. I think this thing was over here. Pretty positive. And I don't remember. So this cover doesn't like clip in anywhere. Well, it might clip into this hole. Okay, then it does. There we go. There was dirt hiding it. And dirt hiding this one too. These are my two guidance holes. A little air box here. Where are the holes? There we go. There we go. Now it's sitting on there right. And yep, it's not hitting. Good. Now, how much more double work can we do? Alright, so I'm fastening where the metal inserts are first. Those are the strong ones. And then we'll go to the plastics. And you can't go too tight because you'll strip out the plastic. Just go until it stops. Okay. Again, I'm just going to get this one started. Make this one tight. Okay. Okay, cool. Now let's put the bar back on. This time we're going to put the bar right side up. And what I do, because I'm a whack job, is I take a little bit of oil. I have this thing filled with gear oil, so that's why it's taking so long to go, but gear oil sticks. And we're just going to lubricate this chain a little bit. You don't have to do this. Again, I'm a whack job, and I like to heavily lubricate everything. But some lubrication is far better than none. And we're going to get our chain. Okay. Gotta make sure the chain's on right. Sometimes everybody puts the chain on backwards now and then, but see how this hook is here? So this thing's spinning this way, so it's bringing up and then boom, cutting. So that looks good. Okay. slide this thing on. And we're going to put the chain on first. Okay, so now you got to get, this is your chain tensioner. So this will go in a hole, and it won't sit flush until you get it in the hole. You can actually watch it on, if you can see the hole in the chain tensioner. So I'm going to push it back, loosen it up. And I'm putting some downward pressure because once we slit in, there we go. She plops in. Good. Okay. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these on. Not going tight, just snugging it so that way I don't have to put my hand on here the whole damn time. Just snug one for now. See this little tip? I don't remember that. But it wants us to put this on in here first. That's fine, I don't care. Alright. So now let's tension this guy up. Just one on, just to hold it, okay. Cool. So I'm gonna let it, you see how much slops in the chain? So we're going to tighten it up. Remember, this is still loose. Look at that chain. Look at the chain go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little tight. And so like it's off the bar here. That's okay. Make it a little tight. And I'm going to run it. And she gets right back on her track. Make it a little snugger. Still too loose. Still too loose. Let's go a quarter turn. Still too loose. Let's go an eighth a turn. And let's go another eighth. That's still too loose. We're going to go quarter turn. That's pretty good, but we're going to go quarter. Get a little tighter actually yet. There we go. It's pretty good. You might have to tension it a little more once you get it running. But that's pretty good, I'd say. Alright, we're going to put this back on its side, and now we're going to tighten this up. I think we said it was a 1/2 inch, right? 16ths or something like that. And 1/2 inch. Again, you're not going tighter than hell, you just tighten it up. Okay. So, the chain might be a little too tight. But let's see how it runs. Because sometimes these things loosen up pretty quick. So we know we got fuel, although I spilled a lot of it. And we got bar oil in it. So let's choke it, see if she fires. Sounds good. Choke off. I think she sounds pretty freaking good, and the chain looks good to me. So, $60 in an auction. Vic did pretty good. See ya.